Welcome, guys. We had exciting Champions League matches this week, and in comparison, very very pale Premier League matches. So, so we'll actually we'll start with the Champions League matches actually, and we have Arsenal playing Bayern Munich, the team that isn't doing really good in their own league. Leverkusen basically showed them that they can win the league and not lose even a single match while doing it. And then Arsenal fighting for the top of the table, giving Man City the run for their money. So as you would expect, Bayern obviously won the match, and Arsenal, Arsenal basically showed that why they were not in Europe. I think for last 7 years.
Yeah.
So for me, I think as a neutral, right? For me,
Yep.
it felt like that Bayern having that experience in your in the Champions League got like they showed that in their match, the calmness on the ball, the intensity of the ball, and for most part, I felt like that Arsenal just even for a team which actually does really really good against these kind of opposition, and they have like really good off the ball movement as well, like they are good in attacking, but they just couldn't basically I think play their own game. And and it's just while watching that match, it just felt inevitable to me that they were not going to win.
Mhm.
But was it is this how you felt before you went into watching this match, or did you feel like that inexperience in Europe actually cost you?
I mean, when I look back at the match, the inexperience did show up, I would say, in the players for sure. But the inexperience showed up in the manager as well, I would like to say. Uh, because and about Arteta's in general, I've seen that he plays a different kind of way when he plays in the Premier League, and it's a quite kind of different when he plays in the Champions League, and usually or in Europe, and I've seen usually it does not work his way when he plays it in Europe. I do not know why he changes. He probably thinks teams in Europe play a little different, so maybe we should adapt. But my line of thought says that if you think you're that good, you might as well play your game and dominate the game. But he doesn't seem to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it also has to do with the fact, like, when we played against Bayern, right? It was in their home, the second leg, and some of these players, they were playing under the bright lights for the first time, for the very first time, and you could see it in the way they play, in the touches. And I think a lot of the blame also lies on the players, for sure.
Okay.
But the second point I would like to point out is, if you have seen in Europe, all the three English teams that are fighting for the title are out of Europe. And I think a major reason for
Brilliant
that is
point.
also fatigue, because you are fighting at the highest level. And this is after a long time, I've seen three teams fighting, right?
Sucks the
And they're
energy
playing
out
neck
of
to
you
neck.
like no one else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks the energy out of you like no else. No
Yeah,
league
yeah.
does, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you got to understand, that does not help. That does not help because all three teams are out.
Mm-hmm.
I would say out of all the three, probably City fared the best in spite of their loss, because they actually gave it a really good go and they looked the team that would go through for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look back at the team and the squad that City has.
Hmm.
This is about the fatigue. But the major point of contention I have with the manager as well, which I've been ranting for the entirety of the season, is he does not rotate his players. He has these fixed 12 to 13 players. He has, and he keeps on playing them. We have a player in Fabio Vieira, who we have not played this season at all. We have got a player in Reece Nelson, who we refuse to play. We have a player in ESR, Emil Smith Rowe, who was the savior for Arteta, who he does not play. I could understand when players are injured, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when the player is out of injury, give him a shot, give him a chance. And in Europe, if you're not dominating the game, you cannot play Jorginho. He is the liability of the highest quality while defending or in transition. And it's not his fault per se. He's old. He the things that he's good at are passing. And, you know, when we are on the front, when a team is on the front foot, and then you have a player like Partey who's so good at every, like, in intercepting and passing the ball progressively. And you have seen him perform so well against the biggest of the teams. But for the reason that he has been injured, and for the thing, and for thinking that, you know what, Jorginho's played in the Champions League before, he's been in a Champions League winning team, and he's been playing for some time, so let me just play him. That when a better player arrives, irrespective of how long the other player has played, you play the better player. There's never going to be a time when I'm going to see Salah sit out if he's fit in a big match, right? But I understand he's trying to build up that you have to build up a credit to play the match. But come on.
Can I interject on that a little bit?
Yeah.
So I hear you about the rotation and all that. But as a manager, I don't know if I can. I mean, I don't agree with what Arteta is doing at this particular point. It's the same team that gets him the result in the Premier League. Okay, I don't see a reason to change your team for a Champions League match, which is actually is a higher stake match. When you have a team that you know that is already doing good, then why would you want to now rotate players in the match as big as this?
Here's the difference, right? The difference is, firstly, Bayern Munich has world-class players.
Okay.
World-class players. Secondly, you got to understand, even in the Premier League, when we play against teams who have the ability to attack us, Jorginho is a liability.
No, okay. I'm
Doesn't change.
actually specifically talking about Partey being out for a lot part of your season, right? Partey has not played, so
No, but
he anyways playing without Partey for a long time. I don't see why you would think that. And you have been doing good in your league games.
You have to understand that these players are playing at such high, like 90 miles an hour they are playing, right? The legs are giving up. And you have got a great player who's come up, who's not played that much. He has a few minutes in his tank that can be very helpful. If you find out that, oh, he's tired out, maybe you take him out and then you bring on Jorginho, right? I'm not saying you don't bring him on, but you always try to play on the front foot when it is possible. And this is just Partey. Emil Smith-Rowe is fit, man. He's fit as can be. And you want to score a goal. It's not like you want to defend. Why aren't you playing him? There's a player in Nketiah. Why aren't you playing him? Right? And another problem that I've seen, and this is a big problem, that most of the times, Arteta is not the initiator. As in, he waits till probably the 75th minute to do a substitute. I mean, it's become better. Before you should, substitute at 80th minute. But when you know this is the problem, you have to change. And this is a pattern now. This is the third season in a row where at the fag end of the season, we are fatigued. The previous season, obviously, our title charge came off, right? The wheels just came off after the 31st game week, in fact. We were done. We were fighting.
I just wanted to ask you another question. Yeah, we understand about the fact about Jorginho and Partey. There were decisions to be made, right? Who to start and who not to.
No.
The results could come out to be different.
But
maybe.
So the reason why I said that is because the game was decided in midfield, right? My issue was that the game was decided in midfield. And they made Goretzka look like a great player, which, I mean, he's a good player, but he's not a great player. We made him look like that. And the only thing Goretzka has is the ability to run. That's it. He's not even a great passer. He's just a good ball carrier. And that did not help us at all.
But my question stems from the fact that, do you think you would have beaten this Bayern team had they been playing at the top gear that we know Bayern teams of the past play, challenging for the title, UCL? Let's consider a Hansi Flick team, playing a high line against Arsenal. How do you see the result in this? Just answer me, straightforward answer I just want.
Right. Even if he played against a Hansi Flick team at high octane level football, and you just removed the name Bayern Munich, and you said XYZ team played that much, Arsenal would win. But if it is a
Exactly.
Bayern Munich,
Yes.
if it is a Bayern
I
Munich,
agree actually.
that
Yeah.
that is also a problem because it's the gravity of the match. It's
Yeah.
the gravity of the UCL against a big team. And I did see because I can understand that you're fatigued, you're not running. I can understand all that. But if your first touches aren't good, that means the pressure of the match is getting
The
to you.
element of
Hmm.
nervous energy, adrenaline, etc., takes
100%.
over,
That, and
and
you could see that
100%.
actually. You could see
And
that.
it happens. And let me tell you, like even Pep also learned it the hard way in the Champions League. The point that Jogekar was making. If Arsenal can play with Jorginho and beat teams in the league, why couldn't they reciprocate the same in the knockout?
No,
Let
no,
me tell
no.
you that. Let me tell you the fact that Pep's teams, City teams, also tried to do that in the Champions League. They wanted to dominate, and they quickly realized before last season they were actually doing that. They wanted to kill teams. They wanted to dominate. They wanted to score more goals, right? But if you ask Pep Guardiola from last season that what do you think you changed in your City team to actually make that next step in the Champions League, which they won, right? They said that we defended the box well this season. We defended our own, winning headers, winning duels, pressing properly from the back. And this element, if a Pep Guardiola, genius like Pep Guardiola can realize that you need that, irrespective of how good a team that you are in the league, I feel that you need that defensive capabilities, you need that ability to block teams off from your box to win, to make that next step. And I feel Arsenal themselves, having not been in Euro for such a long time, have made quite a progress under Arteta, considering he's a new manager and whatnot. But I have another question. Uh, you know, from the fact that, do you think that Arsenal could have made a better choice in the lineup itself? Do you think any player could have changed the absolute dynamic? Because sometimes in Champions League, and you are going to have this problem in years to come by, because you are going to need those characters in the team. You know, maybe a bona fide UCL winners gives you that aura, right? Ki, bhai, I am there. There has to be a UCL winner in your team to rally the troops by saying कि भाई अपन जीतेंगे. UCL विनर छोड़ दे, कोई तो विनर
Like
चाहिए
Kai
स्क्वाड
Havertz.
में. लाइक काई हैवर्ट्स, बट काई हैवर्ट्स खुद हग रहा है ना भाई. वो
हाँ वही तो
आवाज
like Kai Havertz.
Okay.
वो
Okay.
या
I
तो
would.
मेरे थोड़ा उस डायरेक्शन में थोड़ा
Yeah. I
जाना
would
चाहता
like
हूँ.
to answer the
Okay.
question. I would like to answer the question. Firstly, I categorically disagree with the fact that we were playing very good with Jorginho in the Premier League. We weren't. We were playing good when the other teams were boxed in.
ये दिस
The
इज
box.
जोगेकर्स fault. He painted that picture.
No, I
No. So on that, I would still say that whenever he's there, right? And when you're playing against a team that is playing a deep block or what something like that, play Jorginho as much as you want to, right? But any team that has space in their forward line is going to mess up with Jorginho so bad.
Yeah.
It's
okay,
it's not going to be funny.
fine.
And in terms of defending a box, I would say our defenders were still decent. Was still decent. They
Apart
weren't
from
bad.
the clear header that they gave away.
Bro, have you seen Kimish's run? Please respect that guy's intelligence
No,
as
I
well,
know, I know.
right? You
I
But
know.
gotta respect
one more question there, defending the box and etc. Right? You've been so great in your corner set
Actually,
pieces
yeah.
over 2 legs. Why couldn't you succeed on that? What did you think? Tuchel. We know how he won the Champions League against City in the final, right? And he's got a trophy himself. So, do you think he was very well prepared with all your plans to counter that corner set pieces routine
No.
from the
In
Premier League?
general, when Tuchel was in the Premier League, Arteta had his number, right?
Doesn't matter. He
No,
beat you in the
please listen
knockouts.
to me. Listen me. Hear me out. That's
Yeah.
just the difference between world-class players. Do you please understand? Arsenal does not have a bona fide world-class player.
I'm not really sure that you can say that to Tuchel when he won the Champions League with City. So against City with the Chelsea team.
No, but
Exactly.
I
I'm
Great
don't
point,
think
saying,
you can
actually.
say that to Tuchel.
okay, if you
Can
have
you
seen,
say Chelsea had a superior team to City?
No,
You
but
can't.
I'm going to say something. If you have seen that Champions League campaign, they had a player in Kante who propelled them to that stage. If you
Dude,
take
then
out Kante,
And Rudiger.
you also have good players, man. I mean, that is
no,
complete
but
disservice to say that you don't have
please
world class
understand,
players.
Kante was a bona fide world class player.
He
Bona
is, he
fide
is,
world.
yeah,
So
he
from
is.
all these discussions, let's not elongate it. From all your discussions, I am able to feel that you feel, you said, मतलब तूने थोड़ा categorically नहीं बोला, तूने directly बोल दिया कि we don't have world class players, but मैं deduce करके if I produce this statement that you do not have a genuine world class midfielder to partner Rice, would that statement be correct?
No, okay. My statement is a little more, what do you say, elongated,
Broad.
and it's still going to come out.
Okay.
So, my issue is, firstly, I do not believe in the fact that you need to have, I mean, the winners will help, Champions League winners will help, but I still think player quality dictates. For example, Rice has not won Champions League, right? But when he plays on the field, it shows. It shows. Jorginho has won the Champions League, but when he plays on the field and when Rice plays, it shows who's the superior player is and who is the one who's trying to command. Odegaard is the player who tries to command, and those players are there. But
So you tell me in one sentence, what do you think are you are lacking or missing? And
yeah,
maybe next season, if you
yes,
have it, yeah,
we
tell me that.
we we require at this point of time. If
Hmm.
firstly, there are two things that are missing in the squad.
Hmm.
First is obviously we do not have bona fide world class player. Secondly, we do not let's just say we do not have a great finisher in a starting lineup. The one which we have was in Saka, and if you would have seen their right side, they were playing two left backs. Two left backs. Rafael Guerrero was playing, and you can say, oh wait, they had player injured. Guess what? Muller was still there, but still played Guerrero, and the Tuchel himself came out stating that because Arsenal's right side is so potent, that's why we deployed there.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
now the issue is how can you put all the pressure on Asaka alone, right? And
Yeah.
people make memes of him limping, but that's because he gets fouled. And from minute one, he gets fouled. And I don't blame the other team to do that when you know he's such a threat. So we
Yeah.
need a finisher, and definitely we need a step up in the players in terms
Yeah.
of
I mean,
being
you
qualified.
need outlets all across the pitch so that teams cannot target one side. So you need quality all across. So that,
Isn't that true about any team, man? But
No,
but that's
but
what Arsenal lacks. That is
but
his
it's true
as
about any team. But let's just say when Liverpool play, right? When Liverpool play, I see that in spite of the fact that Nunes does nothing in front of goal, he still stretches the other team, and you're looking for him. You've got Salah, you've got Jota. When Arsenal play, firstly, when there is in the striker thing, right? In the striker thing, we do not have a Gabriel Jesus has he's lost his burst after the World Cup, right? We just have got Saka. The other player we have is Martinelli, and Martinelli was also injured. I mean, it
actually
can be a lot of.
Martinelli. I properly feel Martinelli is the one they missed because he's got pace, he's got guile, and he cuts in. He can shoot. He can proper shoot. So if yeah, I mean they overloaded that
No,
side
no,
and
no, no.
Saka was nullified maybe.
there are so many. I mean, we're talking about all these things, and maybe you missed one player or two player, and but just watching the match, I still felt like that the inexperience in the manager that you initially discussed, right? That still is such a big hurdle at this particular point. Even if you had one or two different players, the overall squad of Bayern probably still would have shown a lot more composure,
No, no.
and
I definitely
maybe would
think
have
that we would have
nicked
beaten
it.
them by 2 goals in the two matches put together if we had party.
I
Easy.
also agree because if I feel in even in the second leg, had Arsenal scored now, they would have won the tie. It was that kind of a deadlock. It just a moment happened and Kimmich scored because he arrived late, etc. But had Arsenal scored, their defense is proper strong to, you know,
Just
keep away any
I,
big attacks
And
currently
I
in
remember,
I
Europe.
don't
I
know,
know
man. It's
you're
just
going to say
such a
something, but please.
disservice to, I think,
See,
the way
those
Bayern
moments
plays.
you are talking about,
It's
those are
not a
the
Uh,
things big
disservice
teams.
actually. Bayern
okay,
are actually the weaker form of Bayern who are actually sitting back and countering.
no,
They
no,
are not the
also,
natural Bayern.
No,
and
man. They were
No
playing
matter
pretty
what,
good,
like
man.
whatever you say,
I would like to point
the,
out the only person who's close to world class in our squad is Partey.
See, that's the thing. I mean, I would understand if Partey was injured, right, in this particular situation, but he was available to you.
So that's the manager's fault.
Then
I
in
did
the
say
end,
that.
in the end, it doesn't really matter, because in the end, your manager is at this particular point is
Yeah,
not capable
Arteta
of
needs
making that
5 more
particular.
years actually to learn.
No,
So
no.
I guess that's about
That's what they said about him. That what is the most he could do? Get Arsenal to top
Look,
four. That's what.
Okay,
I'll just give
I
you a
want to
final.
actually just summarize, complete this whole thing in
Yeah,
one single
I
question.
just
Okay,
have one point, bhai, please. Just one point. Not a discussion, not anything. I just have one point. It's an observation actually. Arteta, teams like Arsenal, actually they were hitting peak in the last 1 or 2 seasons. And I personally felt that Arsenal would actually cash in on these occasions. क्यों? क्योंकि United aren't doing well. क्योंकि Chelsea aren't doing well. What will happen is next season United and Chelsea will not have the season that they're having this year. So जो इस 1-2 सीजन में जीतेगा उसके पास मोमेंटम रहेगा भाई. Since Arsenal have missed the train, I worry for Arteta and team that यार ये जब पीरियड एक्सटेंड होते जाता है ना, प्लेयर्स ऑल्सो गिव अप, देयर लेग्स गिव अप, देन अगेन यू हैव टू रीबिल्ड. सो ये साइकिल है. जैसे कि
Uh,
लिवरपूल एक साइकिल में थी, एक पीरियड था वो जीते चैंपियंस लीग, दे वन, they did whatever trophy they won, they did their best to challenge City. We all agree on that. They did their best to देख, जैसे लीग में लिवरपूल फेस्ड अ वॉल इन सिटी, वहां पे चैंपियंस लीग में दे फेस्ड अ वॉल इन
Madrid.
रियल मैड्रिड. दोनों absolute powerhouses in terms of finance. Take these two teams out and Liverpool would have all the fucking trophies in the Premier League and Champions League. मतलब कम से कम मिनिमम 3-4 चैंपियंस लीग क्लब के पास होता. और क्योंकि ये पीरियड में सिटी था, नहीं जीत पाए. नाउ सिटी थोड़ा सा देयर ड्रॉपिंग. आई फील आर्सेनल का ये मूवमेंट था टू विन द टाइटल, अभी भी नहीं गया हाथ से. अभी आर्सेनल टाइटल टू लूज मेरे को अभी भी लगता है. बट अगर नहीं जीता आर्टेटा ना, एक ड्राउट वापस स्टार्ट होने वाला है. दिस इज माय फाइनल वर्डिक्ट.
okay.
On that note, I just want
I'm going to
to.
stay on this unfortunately because this is what happened when we started off the season. They said that Arsenal would not make top four spots. That's what everybody said. That's
Yeah.
what the consensus was. But they keep forgetting that this Arsenal team is a young team, and it is approved. This is improving year on year. They said that last year was the best chance we had to win the Premier League, and this year we are a better team. We are in a better position, better points. Lastly, I would like to say that Arteta has improved in spite of all his flaws. Every year he's becoming a better manager. So what I would like to say to the other teams is, I'm not saying that United and Chelsea and the Liverpools will have similar seasons. I'm saying they'll have better seasons. But to think that this is Arsenal's best season, I think that is a it's very flawed. In that statement is very flawed, because I believe this team is improving year on year, day on day. And the last time that we were fatigued was in March. The year before we were fatigued was in February. This year we are fatigued in April. So the improvements are there. So I think
I
yes,
agree.
but I do agree on this that in 2 years, if we do not win anything,
Exactly.
the players will start moving.
Yes,
They
yes.
will lose their hunger, their legs will give
100%.
up, and they will also look for better pastures. If you
100%.
believe you're a world class player, or you can be, you'll obviously look, and I wouldn't blame the players for that. But to
100%.
say this is the best chance, I would disagree with that.
नहीं, my point was what
I
2-3
agree
years.
so
actually.
you
Yeah.
guys blamed players when they left in 2008, 2009, 2010. So now you will not do that. Okay.
Come again, I couldn't get you.
He is referring to Van Persie, man.
And Percy,
He's
Samir
saying,
Nasri,
yeah.
and many more.
Yeah, but okay, that is such a
I
loose
get that.
reference
I get
because you
that.
do know what happened, right? Arsenal built a stadium. We had to pay for the stadium, and that meant we had to lose players.
No,
It was
it doesn't
because we
mean
were
you have to
not a
lose
financial
players.
Let's
powerhouse.
You
guys,
could lose
let's
players,
not
but
let's not
you
go
were
into
in a better
histories because
position what you are now.
we have three big clubs here and everybody
How?
has a lot more history to discuss and we'll just keep
How we
discussing on
been
histories
okay?
actually.
No, I do understand that, but how are we in a worse place when we are trying to compete for the title? We have just made the quarters of the Champions League. How are we in a worse
No,
place?
Abhay, the point is
You're
you
forgetting
are
the
you are
point.
in a really good mood. You're in a really good pace. But if you don't peak in time, you have to peak in a certain duration. If you don't
Yeah,
peak, you'll miss that point and then
You'll
other
miss
teams
that
will cover. The thing
window
is that you're improving every year, but are you improving enough for other
to win
teams
the
to not
title, to
catch up?
make that match
Because
next
if
jump.
other teams catch up, right, your
yeah,
chance
I do agree.
as good as the
But
team
वही
you are.
मेरा point भी वही था.
Can I give you an example? Last season, Liverpool were in trenches, okay, and you had a
Correct.
two club race with City, which you lost way early. Okay, this time you are having a race with two different clubs. You are doing fantastic. But are
Fantastic.
you saying that next year, when you'll improve, will you improve so much that the Chelsea and Uniteds, when they'll come back, you will be able to be so far out from them? Are you improving at that particular rate? And
I
Liverpool
would say,
actually is such a fantastic example
uh,
about that because
I
they
would
improved
say,
in a
I
very
would
fast rate.
say, I would say, I would say yes. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, fine.
I'm saying, I'm saying this. The Chelsea,
साले
I have my
जोगे कर.
doubts. Chelsea, I
Okay,
have my
fine,
doubts.
बोल कर रुक गया.
But when I
No,
look
no.
at
The thing
the
is that
Liverpool,
I understand the emotional and the sentimentality, right? But the thing is that Abhay's statement is sounding too contradicting for me at this particular point. At one end, you're saying you have zero world class players to
yeah,
make a difference, and on the
yeah,
other end, you're saying that next year when Liverpool will be
They will have
stronger,
5 world-class
when
players.
United and Chelsea would be coming
yeah,
back, probably will come back with a bang.
yeah,
You'll be again class apart from them. When you
yes,
couldn't even you couldn't even like Liverpool bridge that gap in a season. You think
yeah,
other teams
yeah.
cannot?
No, so hear me out, right? Here's the thing:
Hmm.
Liverpool bridged the gap because they had the Dykes, the Trents. I'm saying, do you believe Arteta will not be back this season?
He will
I'm saying,
be. That's the point.
please,
That's okay.
please
Hear
understand,
me out.
our
Hear him
defensive
out.
structure is one of the best in the world, right?
Who's the best in the world?
One of the best
Defensive
in the world.
structure.
Our
Your
defensive structure,
your
the
defensive
numbers
structure is one
say
of
it.
the
You
best
can
in
say
the world.
whatever you like,
No,
right?
it is. It is okay.
No, it
Right?
is.
It is.
And tight, and it took me some time to figure out that the reason we are better this season is because of our defensive,
Obviously, it is your defense.
right?
Hmm.
You know how much money we have spent in our attack till now?
Not
I'll give you a rough number.
Howard's. How
And
much is
Gabriel
that?
Jesus,
Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Saka and Martinelli to almost kind of
Almost.
academy.
So you're
where did all
saying
the
that you
money
have a
go?
lot of money to spend and you're going to spend that very nicely next season, have a
I'm
fantastic
saying
attack.
even if we do, okay, even if we don't spend it nicely, I'm saying that it will be enough for us to improve massively in terms of scoring goals. Massively.
Okay.
So the only way we are going to mess up is if our defensive structure goes out of the window, or players in that are playing in our defense say that, oh no, we got to leave. That's the only
Okay.
way. So at this point of time, we are going to only improve. You also keep forgetting that some of the midfielders that we have, you need to understand the biggest problem right now, even when we are not scoring goals or we are leaking goals, is our midfield, and it will be addressed. And the
Do
best,
you have that kind of money to address both attacking and midfield options with world-class players?
yes. Here's the thing: Arteta will be supported to the hilt because he's shown the numbers, he's shown the figures, and you keep forgetting that the best player that we signed, has not played a single minute yet in this part
Timber.
of the season.
Timber.
Yeah, because when we signed all the three players, I always thought Declan Rice would be the best, but as soon as they started playing, it was clear to see that Timber was the best player.
Okay,
You,
I'll end this whole thing. I think we have we've come a long way about this. I'll end
I
this
wanted
with
to
one
add
thing.
even more, but I am
No,
No, but
restraining
please
I
don't.
just,
myself.
Please don't. I
okay.
think
Here's my
like he'll
issue with all.
you
Here's my,
see. I have not even asked a question.
no,
He's
no, no,
already there
because
to talk
here's my
about it.
issue. Here's my issue. I can, I think that there is a syndrome in place wherein just because they've seen Arsenal be so shit, it's a little difficult for the other teams to see that, oh,
No,
Arsenal,
my
you,
friend. No, my friend.
every,
You
No,
know,
it's not like that actually.
it's not.
There is no.
every year, okay.
I honestly respect what Arsenal has done in
Yeah,
such a
but I'm
short time.
we are coming
In
from
such a
somewhere
short
else
time.
actually.
But the thing is that, I mean, it sounds cliche, but you are coming for a place and we have been there. We know what it takes. And I feel like that you are a fantastic team, and it is, and at the pace that you have is really good as well. But you have to do it faster, or in the let's just say next season. If you're saying the next season, if you don't do something, maybe we'll get another chance.
Shall
No,
I
my
tell you
friend.
one
Okay,
thing?
You
If
probably
Pep
won't.
leaves, the entire game changes for Arsenal. If Pep
Yeah, that
is
is
still
true.
intact,
That
so
is
here's the reason why I said 2 seasons, right?
Hmm.
2024-5 is when Pep's
Pep leaves.
contract
Yeah.
expires.
Pep
Yeah.
That
leaves.
is why
Who
I
said
said
that?
2 seasons.
ये
Uh,
कौन?
I mean, contract expires, he might leave. It looks
Yeah.
like that.
अच्छा.
2025 his contract. So that's why I said 2 seasons. That is
Okay.
exactly why I
Let
said
me
2 seasons.
let me end this with just one question that I have been like waiting to ask actually.
Yeah.
This season you're out of Champions League. Okay, I don't think you're
Yes.
there in any other cups as well.
Yeah.
Premier League, you obviously are in contention, and
Yes.
for a lot of people probably favorites as well. But let's just say you don't win the Premier League as well.
Yeah.
How do you see this season? Do you see it in some sort of success? Do you see that you have underachieved in some way, or maybe underperformed in some matters? Like,
Joker, let me tell
how
you,
do
you
see
won't
it?
like the answer.
Of course you wouldn't like the answer.
Okay. So, but I want to see what Arsenal fans are thinking actually on this particular. You see,
No,
you win nothing. This is, keep that in mind. This is 5th season of Arteta, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And he's
Okay.
actually not
Also,
won anything in a full season.
He is
FA Cup
okay.
first.
Africa
Yeah.
was first. Okay.
okay. Here's
Anyway,
the thing.
let's just yeah.
Firstly, the start of the season was a bang because we won the Community Shield against the fully fit Manchester City.
Well, congratulations
Played
on
with
that.
all, yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Community
Yeah.
Shield.
Of course, because I know that is the best team City had at that point of time, with all their players fit, with KDB fit and firing, and we were playing toe to toe against them
Season
with
का
no
पहला
fatigue
match.
in any of the team's legs.
Okay.
Right?
Then next, yes. Okay.
Secondly,
Hmm.
I
Manish,
would
तू
say,
चुप क्यों है भाई?
I would say that this season,
Then you successfully went on to face Bayern Munich in the Champions League knockout.
quarterfinals.
That itself is a big achievement.
Before that, actually, they successfully went on facing a certain team in FA Cup, and then they lost against that as well. But then they successfully went and faced Bayern Munich in Champions League and lost that as well. Now
Spurs
they're going to
Spurs fan चाहिए था Arsenal को
successfully
साथ में
they're going to face City and Liverpool for the title charge as well.
If Arsenal are going to play Bayern Munich in the Champions League, they are going to get knocked out. So reaching and going to face Bayern Munich, that itself is an achievement. That is what I mean.
Joga, I told you. I urged
No, but
Gosser.
I thought
No, but let him answer. Let him answer, man. Let him answer.
Okay, let him
मैं
answer.
चुप था तो तुमने बोला बोलो.
नहीं भाई, तू सही बोला, बिल्कुल सही
Yeah.
बोला.
I can see why the glee is there on your face, because you have nothing to look forward to, and the only thing you can do at this point of time is hate watch Arsenal.
Hate watch.
We are in the FA Cup final. At least we are.
We are hate
watching.
We are hate watching. You are failing.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because the standards keep improving for what is failure for Arsenal. And here's the thing, that's the truth.
Yes, you had specialist of failure as a former manager. So
right.
Answer करने दो उसको भाई.
Don't go there, भाई. उसको बोलने दो.
That's all right. That's all right. He's the one who got the highest FA Cups that you're trying to win. Anyways, moving on. The other thing.
How do you see the season? Yes, that's the main question.
But the answer was right there. You know, at the start of the season, they wanted Arsenal. They were saying Arsenal wouldn't make the Champions League.
नहीं हमारा opinion को लेके बोल देता है सीधा.
Now, please hear me out.
नहीं भाई. I'm actually, see, I don't care about what rivals have said and all that.
Correct.
What I care about, see, when you talk about Arsenal, you talk about progression and what fans think and what everything.
Please hear me
I
out.
want to see your point of view. Yeah.
Please hear me out. So that was what rival fans thought. But now there was a point of time in where they were like, oh my God, Arsenal might win the league. That was, where did that come from? Right? Where did that come from? That came from the fact that they saw Arsenal being that much of a problem.
Okay.
That is where it came from. And I know you see Arsenal like this, but I have also seen another thing. At this point of time, we lost two world-class players, or players who were close to world-class. Last season, Gabriel Jesus was the reason we were playing so good up front, scoring goals out of nothing. And he's not the same this season. The other big part was Partey, right? And he was not playing, but we still made up, right? We didn't win anything, fair enough. But we were competing, and we are competing till the fag end of the season. And that is an improvement. It's by any means, if you don't win a trophy, it's not a good season. I agree.
Okay.
But it's not a shit ass season as people are making out to be. It is a
It's
progression from
not.
last year for sure.
Neither Jogekar nor Manish nor me.
Nobody
We are
is saying
not
that.
telling you that.
But
You are making up
I'm actually,
stories and then
I'm
considering it as an achievement. That's
the
that's
thing
where I
is
have a
that,
problem with.
what I see.
We see Arsenal as proper outlet to go and win the Premier League. Everyone will agree. Why are you making it out to be by हम तो बोल रहे हैं
No,
Arsenal
no, no,
फालतू
no.
है
No,
और
no.
हम
I'm
तो
just
उनसे
trying to
अच्छा
make
कर
you
रहे
understand
हैं.
that the
ए
level.
भाई तुमने उसको पूछा, वो बोला, अभी क्या तुम उसको फिर से बोल रहे हो?
नहीं नहीं
ये
नहीं
क्या
नहीं
है?
हम
But
क्वेश्चन को
my thing
क्लैरिफाई
is,
कर रहे हैं.
my thing is, because the improvements are so massive, so easy to see. That is why people can say that, oh, this might have been a failure because you
Hmm.
reached those levels.
Okay.
And now I'm looking back at my season from the start of the season, right? When
Hmm.
I look back at it in hindsight, where we lost players, how we started off, because I remember the second, third week, I was like, oh my God, we have gone to the dumps. And from there, I'm looking at my season. If you ask me, how do you think of your season from the past 2 weeks, I would say we have gone to the shits. It's been the worst season possible because
No,
that's
that's why I did not ask you. What I asked, if you end this season without any trophies, what will you make about this season? That's why I asked this to you.
No,
He will
yeah,
consider
this,
it as a progression.
I would
You
Okay.
consider it a
हाँ बस
progression.
बस उतना ही
That's
I
बस
about
would
उतना
be
it.
ही. That's
disappointed,
about it.
Hmm.
but I
That's
would
about it.
consider
He'll
it
be
as a
disappointed.
progression.
But our question and Jogekar questions or even Manish's question is stems from the fact that when you have competing, right? When it goes on for too long that you don't win trophies, players lose that little bit. वो
100%,
मोटिवेशन और वो हार्ट जब तुम पूरा जी जान लगा के
110%,
हाँ बस वही बोल
110%.
रहा हूँ बिफोर
Yeah,
दैट हैपेंस
yeah,
तुम कितना भी इन योर आइज तुम हाँ 200% प्रोग्रेस मान लो या जो भी कर लो बिफोर दैट पॉइंट अराइव्स दैट टिपिंग पॉइंट अराइव्स वेयर
yeah,
प्लेयर्स स्टार्ट टू लूज नेचुरल कोर्स जो भी लेना है जो होता
yeah,
है
yeah,
साइकिल
yeah,
बिफोर
yeah,
दैट हैपेंस अगर आर्टेटा एक प्रीमियर लीग और चैंपियंस लीग फाइनल लेट्स नॉट से चैंपियंस लीग जीत जाना
Hmm.
अगर एक प्रीमियर लीग टाइटल लेट्स बेयर मिनिमम कंसिडर करते हैं प्रीमियर लीग टाइटल अगर वो डिलीवर नहीं किया ना वो कैसा होना all the brilliant work which you me or any Arsenal fans know कि आर्टेटा ने किया है he will be etched in the history forever as
Hmm.
the best manager after Arsene Wenger to have taken over Arsenal but जब ट्रॉफी लिस्ट में वो प्रीमियर लीग या कुछ नहीं रहेगा ना it will be very sad
No, no,
for you
no,
as an
no.
Arsenal fan.
No, here's the thing. If Arteta goes out, right, without winning a Premier League or a Champions League, he can't be classed as a great success or anything. He cannot be. That is for sure. For at least
I
for
know
me.
I was just giving you some leeway
Yeah,
कि ये
at
सोच
least
के
for
कि
me.
improvement वाला जो
Yeah,
चीज
yeah,
you
yeah.
are
I
fixated on
understand.
so
But I have seen how much time it took City to win the Champions League with the players they had. And
forget the
when they
चैंपियंस
won.
लीग प्रीमियर लीग पे फोकस करते हैं इसलिए मैंने बोला
वो
प्रीमियर लीग
that
कब
was the
जीतोगे
African curse. That's why they didn't win.
Here's the thing. I have seen the hunger in their eyes. I have seen how they're putting the bodies on the line. And I have also seen that in spite of him just selecting 13 to 14 players, what they're trying to do for the team, the hunger that they have, and the kind of pressure we have started putting after the 80th minute. It wasn't there last season, right? This season it has improved. But if we do not do much in the next season, then I do see a downfall coming
yeah yeah
because eventually you
क्योंकि
lose
3 साल का
good
साइकिल
players.
हो गया ना 3 इयर्स का
Huh?
साइकिल विल 3 इयर्स का साइकिल एक वो कंप्लीट होता है इट्स अ
Yeah,
जनरल पता नहीं
yeah,
थियोरी है 3 ईयर में
yeah,
यू हैव टू अचीव समथिंग और एल्स everything is downhill
yeah,
yeah
yeah.
I guess Jogekar on to you man
I was
how do you
thinking,
want
why I just want to end this whole
yeah
thing with this, that while you guys were discussing, if Arteta doesn't win, like Arteta's journey is quite similar to how Pochettino was like doing with Spurs. Fantastic,
brilliant
great
point
progression, great players, doing everything, reaching to Champions League final, losing that, and then losing all the momentum and all the drive and everything. That's what like it
वो तो
does
और
to
कम
you.
बजट में किया भाई, वो तो उसके
Exactly.
आधे बजट में किया
Yeah,
है.
but but the
No,
point being, that's what it does to your players and your
Exactly.
managers. That
but
kind of
I don't think
fatigue.
that's a good comparison at all because they had Daniel Levy, right? They had Daniel.
See,
just
I'm not
super
talking about
top player
transfers.
comparison.
I'm not talking
The-
about transfers. I'm not talking about like he had a different budget. You have a different budget. He did not get support as much. The point being that Spurs even like was always there. Okay, they were always. I felt like that every year they were improving. Maybe they were not improving with players, but at least the play was improving. They were always
वो
performing
3-year
better.
cycle में, वो भी
Yeah,
उनका
but
3-year
I
cycle
agree,
था.
but
That
I
hit,
also,
right?
but you need to understand. For me, that Spurs team was a better team than this Arsenal team in terms of pure players. But I think Arteta is a far superior manager to Pochettino.
That we'll see. Once
Yeah.
Arteta
I'm
wins
100%
anything,
sure of it.
I'll accept that. Before that,
I'm
I'm not going to
100%
accept
sure
that
of
at
it.
all. So,
I'm
but
100%
let's
sure
see
of it.
see him win something. Then we'll talk about him being
Yep.
What has
compared to
Pochettino
managers.
won?
I don't know. What has he won? Did he
What
win
has he
anything
won
this
in
year?
the
He
Premier
got
League?
Yeah.
Please tell
French
me.
league.
Arteta is
French
competing
league.
with
At least he has a
Pochettino
French
now.
league.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm asking in the Premier League, what has he
Dude,
won, brothers?
Dude, at least
Nothing.
Please
he
tell
has a
me.
Champions. Dude, at least he has a Champions League final. Let's get
What
there.
is the Champions League final if you don't win it? Tell
What
me.
is the Champions League final? You don't know because you were not there ever. Let's not go there. Let's
How
not
were
go
we never
there.
there, bro? We were there in
Arey,
the Champions League
they were
final.
there
What are you
once
saying?
under Wenger.
Recently, I'm saying,
And the way
under
we
Arteta, I'm
lost.
saying, man. We are talking under Arteta, no? We are comparing Arteta versus
Bro,
Pochettino.
this is
What
the
I'm saying.
first season in the Champions League under Arteta.
तो
We are in
वो भी
quarters.
आर्टेटा की
Next
ही
season
गलती
semi,
कंसिडर किया
third
जाएगी.
season final, चौथे season पर जीत
भाई
गए.
पांचवें
अरे
पांचवें
बस
सीजन में
भाई,
पांचवें
बस
सीजन चलो ठीक है
माफ
ओके
कर
I'll
दे
leave
बस.
it because this will never end.